Another draw, Oxford fans. They battled hard for that draw, but is it enough? Hello everybody, it's Ian here once again from OUFC Fan View. It's time for another review of another Oxford United game. It was a trip to the seaside for the Yellows this afternoon. Oxford were away at Blackpool. As we enter the business end of the season, Oxford's promotion push has definitely stalled, and it's been a difficult last month for Oxford, that win against Carlisle being their last win, and I can tell you that does seem like a long time ago. A couple of draws recently haven't done much to add momentum to this Oxford United lineup, so Oxford really needed to start putting some wins on the board, but it was never going to be an easy task away at Blackpool. A Blackpool side who were hot on Oxford's heels, trying to get into that promotion mix themselves, and maybe not surprisingly both sides kind of cancelled each other's out, but both sides had chances to win it, but neither could. It ended Blackpool 1, Oxford United 1. And as we normally do on this channel, we will go over everything. I will go over the lineups for both sides. I will go over my review of the game, and then I'll give my final thoughts for both sides. I do put timestamps down below, so please feel free to use them if you want to jump to any particular point of the video. But shame on you if you do that. You should watch the whole thing. But either way, if you can hit like on this video, that does help me out a lot. And if you do like the content, then consider subscribing. And I do also want to thank Owen the Rail for giving me yet another super chat. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Super chats are available if anyone wants to give them. I don't recommend it though. I'm not sure I deserve it, but do appreciate it, Owen. Thank you very much. But let's have a look at this team news then this afternoon, starting with Oxford United. Just two changes from that side that had that. I thought performance-wise was okay, but the quality was certainly lacking, and so I'm going to call it that lacklustre draw against Reading last weekend. But there is a host of players on the United bench that has bolstered this overall match day squad. Jamie Cumming returns in goal, and Sam Long is concussion-free and is back in at right back. Will Goodwin is on the bench, so hopefully we will be able to see our big money signing for the first time. Jay Mateta is also on the bench, along with Josh Murphy and Billy Bodin, who return from injury. But there's no Owen Dale available to play against his old club. Gentleman's agreement has ruled him out, and some fans have been very much angry and aggrieved by that. It's annoying, but it's one of those things. Moving on to Blackpool now, and Neil Critchley's Tangerines side started the day in 8th place and 5 points behind Oxford United. Not much has really changed after today's result, but they were looking to claw back some points to get into that playoff hunt, to get back into the playoff places. But Blackpool do have the best home record in Sky Bet League One, but they did lose their last game. That was on the road away at Stevenage, and that would have been a bit of a body blow, and they didn't want to follow that one up with another one against another side pushing for those playoff places. There were two changes from the side that lost that last game. Hamilton and Kouasse dropping out of the side, and Timbele and Shane Lavery going in up front. Jordan Rhodes is a big loss for Blackpool though. He is out with a rib injury, so they do have Oxford United's loanee from last season, Kyle Joseph, starting up front. Really liked Kyle Joseph. I hope he does well for Blackpool. Hope he does well in his career. Obviously not today, but let's state once again that this is going to be a difficult game against a side who do have the best home record in League One. So a scrappy game for the first 10 minutes. Both sides kind of feeling each other out. Pitch not in the best of quality, but it was Blackpool who did have the first effort. It was Dembele. This was kind of symptomatic of Blackpool's play all afternoon. Dembele just sort of won a ball in the midfield and drove at the heart of the Oxford United defence. He got to the edge of the box. It was a good chance actually, but his shot was woeful, and that was kind of the story of Blackpool's afternoon, getting into good areas but the finishing just not being there. But it was Blackpool who were looking the more dangerous, and this time it was Lavery who on the other side drove forward on their left, Oxford United's right, into the penalty area, and it took an amazing block by Kieran Brown to put it behind for a corner. But from that corner, Blackpool took the lead. Oxford struggling from set pieces for a while now, struggling to keep clean sheets, and that's another one that's gone begging for Oxford United. Blackpool, good little routine from their point of view. Corner to the back post. Norburn volleys it into the ground, back across goal. Pennington is there unchallenged from about the 6-yard line. He just glances it into the top corner of the goal. Blackpool looking good value for it at that point, but it did not last long, and Oxford got back into this game really quickly, and it was from a corner of their own. It was quite similar, actually. It was played sort of to the back of the penalty area. Sam Long won the first header. Elliot Moore flicked it on nicely in the middle, and Mark Harris was in lots of space, and Mark Harris is in pretty damn good nick at the moment, and he banged it in. I think that to make it 7 out of 9 for Mark Harris. Oxford United back at 1-1. And Oxford kicked on quite nicely in the first half after that goal and were the better side and had the better chances. Not a huge number of chances, but they did miss an absolute sitter, which we will get to in a moment. But first of all, Brannigan had a wonderful effort from about 30 yards, which whistled just wide of the post. But on 33 minutes, Oxford missed a gilt-edged chance. Rodriguez played a wonderful ball to Harris, who did well to get himself into an area onto the edge of the box where you thought he would pull the trigger, but he played it to Marcus McGuane, who made great ground to get to the edge of the box. But Marcus McGuane sort of stumbled on it. The ball sort of got trapped under his feet. He stumbled a little bit, but he kept the ball, and then he was just trying to work a shooting angle, and he did really well. He cut back. He almost put Grimshaw on the ground for a moment, but he just didn't fancy the shot himself with players back on the line. He squared it to Harris. Harris had a shot at goal, but it wasn't from the greatest of angle. And Ekpetia on the lines blocked it with his face. A wonderful block from him, and the chance goes a begging for Oxford United. You'd have to say McGuane, with a little bit more conviction, would have taken that shot on himself. Mark Harris should have done better himself initially. I thought he was striker's got to be greedy there, and he should have gone for goal himself. A couple of minutes later, Oxford nearly get Tyler Goodrum in behind, but he just takes a heavy touch, and Grimshaw is allowed to get out and smother on the ball. And not really too many chances after that as we headed towards half time, but there was nearly an absolute horror show from the skipper Elliot Moore right on the stroke of half time. It's just a long ball booted forward, seemed like a routine play for him to head it back to Jamie Cumming, but he's got way too much on it, and it balloons over Cumming, and you've got this frantic moment where he's scrambling back to the ball, but Cumming does well actually to just palm the ball away, and Oxford are able to just sort of smuggle it away from danger. Kind of heart racing a little bit at that moment. Quite glad for the halftime whistle to blow. And all in all, 1-1. Quite a frenetic game. Some good, some bad, but a lot of pretty average stuff in there as well. Both sides playing quite direct. Blackpool's front three of Lavery, Joseph and Debele looked very lively. Got into some good positions without actually being able to work Cummings in the first half. They did have more shots on target in the second half. But Oxford had some good opportunities on the break themselves, and mainly that chance that Harris and McGuane could not score from, which they really should have done. Very much even Stevens, though, as we head into the second half. And it was a welcome back to Josh Murphy to this Oxford United lineup as he came on at half-time to replace Tyler Bure. But it was Blackpool who started the second half, much the stronger side. Ex-Oxford player Kyle Joseph getting a ball on the edge of the box, which Oxford failed to clear the danger from the initial play. Kyle Joseph keeping it alive, but he scuffed the effort really, and it went straight down the throat. Easy for Jamie Cumming. But as I say, Blackpool were just winning so many more second balls and just being able to sort of look more dangerous than Oxford, and they were well on top of the game. And at this point, 58 minutes on the clock, Jamie Cumming stands up, makes an incredible save to keep it at 1-1. I was critical of Cumming for the game against Bristol Rovers, but he has kept Oxford United in this game. It's good delivery from a free kick in from the right, Oxford United's left, and Pennington again with a free header from close range, and Cumming sticks up a big left hand, palms it up into the air, and is able to get on the rebound. That was a wonderful save and kept Oxford in the game. it did sort of calm Oxford down a little bit, and they were better, and it was more of an even contest from that point. Goodwin came on for his debut for Oxford United. Very weird to see Oxford having a big guy up front and a target man. Hopefully that's going to add a new string to our bow in these final sort of 15 games of the season. George Byers came on for Blackpool in one of a triple change. He was excellent for Sheffield Wednesday last season in League One. I know Blackpool fans will be hoping to see a lot from him in those final 15 games as well. I thought Jamie Cumming made a difference when he came on. Very tenacious in midfield, and he won the ball back in a dangerous area, and Brannigan allowed him to play higher up the pitch. He got the ball, drove to the edge of the area, but shot over the bar. We expect better from Brannigan in those areas. It was a wayward, disappointing shot from Brannigan there. And as this game entered the final 5 minutes, you were just hoping for one final chance, and Oxford got that final chance. But like in the first half, they spurned their second gilt-edge opportunity in this game, and this really could have been the winner. It was Mateta again. Did so well. He must have rode about 4 challenges in midfield. He gets the ball out to Murphy. It's a wonderful, wicked cross from Josh Murphy right the way across the penalty area. It just evades Goodwin, and Billy Bodin back in the side just has to stoop at the back post and seemingly head it in from just a couple of yards out. I'm already celebrating, but it hits the post. How did you hit the post, Billy Bodin? And the ball goes away to safety. It looked harder to miss than score. Not that I would do any good for that opportunity at all, but my goodness, what a gilt-edged chance. Oxford United would be kicking themselves that they did not take it. Credit to Blackpool, they ended the game probably on the front foot in the last 3 or 4 minutes and heading into that final 5 minutes of injury time. They were pushing for that winner, but again, they just couldn't get any quality shots on goals. They had pressure. They were creating chances. They looked dangerous down the wings when they were going forward. It was just a lack of quality for them in front of goal. And Oxford rode the late flurry of corners and the late flurry of pressure, and in the end came away with a 1-1 draw. Probably a fair result, but from an Oxford point of view, I'm kicking myself at those 2 good chances that they missed. And that brings me on to my final thoughts, and let's start with the home side, Blackpool. Decent performance today. I expected it to be a tough game. Very good side at home. As we know, the home record is amazing. I thought your forward players were really good today. I thought the midfield did a very good job. Won a lot of second balls in midfield. He really, I think, won the battle for the large part in that midfield. I thought when Mateta came on for Oxford United, that did swing the balance a bit more back in our favour. But I thought you looked very good going forward without being clinical in that final third, and that's ultimately what cost you from winning this game. Barring an amazing save by Jamie Cumming from a set piece, you didn't really work Cumming too much. And whilst I thought Joseph, Lavery and Dembele are very good at getting the ball and driving forward and trying to make something happen, when it came to the crunch, they just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. But it's not really home form to see why you're in the situation that you're in terms of being outside of the playoffs, desperately trying to catch up. It's that away form, isn't it, that's got to improve. Obviously, Jordan Rhodes is a huge miss for you guys. If he would have played today, maybe he would have made the difference. But you'll have him back soon, and he's that clinical presence up front. And maybe if he carries on his good goal-scoring form, then it might just click for you at home and away, and you still might go on an amazing run at the back end of the season. And I certainly wouldn't count you out of getting a play-off place. George Byers, I think you're going to be excited by seeing him play. If he can capture the form that he had for Sheffield Wednesday last season, you've got a heck of a player in midfield there. But let me know, Blackpool fans, let me know your thoughts on the game today. Let me know your thoughts on what you thought of Oxford. Let me know your thoughts on whether you thought you deserved to win today, or whether you thought a point was fair, and whether you are enjoying what Neil Critchley's doing this season, and whether you think you can still get in the playoffs. But as always, good luck for the rest of the season. I'm sure that you are still going to be annoyed at Cam Brannigan if we play against you next season, but you need to let it go. He's staying at Oxford. He loves Oxford United. But let's move on to Oxford United now. And it's a strange one, isn't it? I would say that's a decent away battling performance for Oxford United, but it's come at a point of the season where we really need to start getting wins. If this would have come back in December, you'd have just put that down to saying, yeah, that's not a bad result. But now we've got to start being more. We've got to start being more ruthless, and we've got to start taking advantage when we do create those chances. And fair play to Mark Harris. He has scored goals, 7 goals in 9 now. When people just didn't. There were people who were really, really scathing of Harris, and he's really turned his form around. And credit to him, but he really should have made, but he should have made more of that effort in the first half. And Billy Bodin has to score that one in the second half. But all in all, nice to see Oxford have options from the bench. Nice to see them have. I think the key one, I think, is going to be Matete. I think he looks a real gem of a player. I think he's going to help Oxford United no end in midfield. I think Harris McGuane, again, I don't think he was that great today, and I think he needs to be starting ahead of Harris McGuane. We've got those options on the wing now, and you've had Owen Dale back into that mix for Tuesday night's game. You've got that your options of playing Harris, or you've got the options of playing Goodwin now. You've got that option of having a target man up front, which makes a difference as well. Defensively, I thought Oxford did okay today. They were a bit ropey. There were some mistakes in there, but they just about got away with it. But we're struggling to keep clean sheets. We're struggling from set pieces. It always looks like a side is going to get a gilt-edged chance from a set piece. Oxford really need to improve on that. Jamie Cumming stood up tall, made a wonderful save to keep Oxford in it. But for me, it was worrying in midfield for large points of the game. I thought about Blackpool won that battle in midfield for large periods, and created a lot of chances from second phases or winning second balls in there. And it was really when Matete came on that he really swung the balance back in Oxford's favour. But all in all, probably a good battling performance, not too bad, keeps us just about in the mix, but we've got to start winning some games. We've got to start getting some W's on the board. I know there's going to be some scathing comments about this. I know there's going to be some people saying we're not good enough, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de, but we're starting to get some teeth back. We're starting to get some attacking players back, and we're starting to look a little bit more dangerous, and that's encouraging. I thought Josh Murphy, whilst he wasn't dynamic in flying down the wings today, I thought he put some very intelligent balls into the box. And also, I think Tyler Bure and Josh Murphy, going forward, they weren't great today, but they did put a shift in defence. And Tyler Bure especially, he is no shrinking violet out there as well. He will put himself about a bit, and he's very strong on the ball, and that is good to see. But got to start getting wins. Bottom line, we've got to start getting wins, and you'd think we've got to start that on Tuesday night against Wigan. Really, although it's not must win because you've still got 14 games after that, it's a win would just ease the pressure and ease the tension and just put some momentum back into this side, because Wycombe, after that, we always seem to struggle when we go to Adams Park, and Wycombe have found some form. Well, I think they won a big win today against Peterborough, so that's not going to be an easy game for sure. So Oxford have got to start getting some wins against some difficult sides, and they've got to start putting in some performances. But not too bad today. I thought it was okay, and we could have come away with a victory. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments. I'm always interested to know. I might even respond to your comments in a bit more of a timely manner. Who knows? But thanks very much for watching. I'll be back to do a review of the Wigan game. But all in all, it was okay. And we'll move on to Tuesday. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.